Good morning, friends. It's Mrs. Sapia time. I just today wanted to talk about, even though we're not at Glencliff School in the building, we are still Glencliff School. We are still part of that community, as we spoke about so many times, the Glencliff community. And then within the Glencliff community, we're part of Mrs. Feuda's kindergarten class. So even though we're not all together, we are still Glencliff. Today I'm going to read you a story about kindergarten, and it's called Kindergarten Kids. It's written by Ellen Sinisi, and there are pictures. Doesn't have an illustrator. There are 21 kids in room 8 at Lincoln School. Before they were old enough to come to kindergarten, they used to wonder, what is it like? Will I have any friends? Now they can tell other kids what it's like in their kindergarten. Let's see if it's like our kindergarten. School starts when the bell rings. The kids come into the classroom and say hello to their friends and their teacher, Mrs. Simone. Mrs. Simone says good morning to everyone too. There's a lot to do in kindergarten. The class gets started right away. Kayla says goodbye to her grandma, and Mrs. Simone says, everyone choose a learning center to work at. Mrs. Simone, I don't know which center to choose, said Markeith. The Rice Center is out, said Dominique to Markeith. That's where I want to work. Dominique likes how the rice feels running through his fingers. Everyone likes to play in the house corner. Richard, here's your breakfast, says Levon. Working and playing in the learning center is Rochelle's favorite part of the day. She might work on the computer with Ahmed, or she might play mommies in the house corner with Kayla. Mrs. Simone is going to be a real mommy. She's going to have twins, said Marchand. Mrs. D is the teacher's helper. She doesn't come every day, but when she does come, everyone is happy to see her. She always smiles at me, says Michael. She likes me. Michael and Megan like to play with blocks. There are many blocks in our room, says Megan. There are big blocks and little blocks. Yolanda uses the pattern blocks. See what I made, Mrs. Simone, says Christina. Everyone has a favorite center. Kenny and Richard like playing in the water tub with William, who is visiting today. Stephen says sand is fun to look at and feel. Brittany loves to dress up and pretend to be someone else. Suddenly, the principal's voice comes over the loudspeaker on the classroom wall. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I love saying the pledge. It makes me feel grown up, says Shakoa. When the pledge is over, our teacher says, you may continue, and we start playing again. After a while, the teacher flicks the lights on and off. That means it's time for everyone to clean up. I can put away all these blocks by myself, says Shakoa. I think cleanup is more fun at school than it is at home. Mrs. D, can you help me finish this puzzle, says Kayla. Uh-oh, says Mrs. Simone. I think we need the broom at the sand table. After we clean up, we sit together on the rug, says Kenny. Mrs. Simone takes out the attendance cards. She calls out the name to see who is in class. I like when it's my turn to be the helper, says Rachel. I help my teacher put the date on the calendar. Next, the class talks together. Everyone wants to talk at once, but Mrs. Simone has each child take a turn. We talk about the things we made the day before, says Brittany, and the teacher tells us what our work is for the rest of the day. My teacher shows me how to do things, says James. She teaches us letters and all about following rules. Mrs. Mrs. Simone always makes me feel better when I get hurt, says Levon. I like Mrs. Simone because she says funny things, says Jessica. Soon, Mrs. Simone gets the class started on their work. Everyone works on coloring projects together. Megan works very carefully. That looks good, Rochelle, says Scott. Yolanda finishes coloring very quickly. Sadif and Richard color color plants and seeds in their coloring book. Kenny and Brittany color the letter S. A lot of the classwork is about the alphabet. The kids practice the alphabet in many ways. When we learned the letter Q, I made a queen's crown, said Rachel. We painted with Q-tips too, said Markeith. And we sat around a quilt, said Marchand. The class practiced writing the letter R by tracing in red paint. For the letter S, the class read a book about stone soup, and then they made some. Yolanda helped to wash the stones. We washed them lots of times until they got clean, she says. The soup was good, but we didn't eat the stones, said Levon. After all that work, Marchand is ready to rest. It's a good thing that it's snack time. Put your papers in your mailboxes, said Mrs. Simone. Before snack, we go to the bathroom and we wash our hands, says Brittany. Snack time is a good time to be with friends. Guess what, says Shikoa. I lost a tooth. Do you think your mother will let you come to my house to play? Ahmad asked Brittany. Sometimes kids have problems with each other, but Mrs. Simone does not let any student hurt or tease another student. You do time out when you don't follow the rules, says Richard. That means you have to sit by yourself. You can't be with the other kids until the teacher says you can. There's more work to do after snack time. It may be science or math. For one science lesson, everyone planted seeds and took care of them. Soon plants grew from the seeds. Watch out, Scott, said Sadif. There's too much water. It's time for math. The class practices counting things. James likes to use the bunny counters. We count money too, says Richard. Real money. On some days, the class does art projects after snack time. Michael, you're making a wonderful picture, says Mrs. Simone. Sometimes everyone works together on a big art project. One time we even made our own paper, said Jessica. We learn music in kindergarten too, said Rochelle. We sing together or make music with rhythm sticks. Most of the time, school is fun, but sometimes kids get tired. Sometimes they're not sure what to do, and sometimes they just have a bad day. But if someone has a problem, it's all forgotten when the teacher says, "Line up to go outside." On the playground, everyone shouts and laughs. The kindergarten kids jump, run, climb, slide, and swing. After the class comes back inside, Mrs. Simone says, "Time to settle down now." Then she reads a story to the class. Sometimes we tell stories to each other too, says Levon. Everyone gets all excited again when it's time to go home. The class lines up at the door. The kids tell each other jokes. School is over when the bell rings. Move the line, says Richard. We're going home now. Bye, Mrs. Simone. Goodbye, teacher, says Markeith. It was a great day. Some of the things in this book are the same as our kindergarten, and some are different. But All the grown-ups that work at Glencliff School, especially Mrs. Feuda and I, and all the experts who study young children know that the best way for children to learn is play. So today I hope you play, play, play. Play pretend, play with blocks, play with a little rice if you have it and can use it, or sand. Just have fun. And I want to read part of the Glencliff song to you. We are Glencliff, we are Glencliff. Friendship stands above. We are Glencliff, we are Glencliff. It's our school, our home, never stand alone. So even though we're not all at Glencliff, we are still Glencliff. After I post this video to YouTube, I'm also going to post a video of our last Good Morning Glencliff. I recorded the song. I hope you have a wonderful day and a good weekend. I will see you again on Monday. Bye-bye.